My name is Morris Denman, Denman.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I am 74 years old. Next month in June, my wife and I will be married 53 years. I have 3 daughters, 8 grandchildren. Those are the most important things. The rest of my life, I've just a semi-retired minister, pastored churches for about 45 years. And now I work part-time at St. Andrew Baptist Church and do some preaching on the weekend.
Perfect. You guys do some great work over there, by the way.
Yes, they do. That clinic is awesome.
It is. We're really supportive of that clinic. That's
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sorry to digress.
That's all right.
Okay, so tell us about how you ended up having this procedure. What kind of symptoms were you having? Or tell us just an abbreviated version of kind of with your heart issues. And be sure you look more at me. Don't
Okay.
look back and forth, because the camera exaggerates everything. So.
All right. Okay. The journey to the procedure was a long one. 19 years ago, I had open heart surgery, 3 bypasses. And so I've been under the care of cardiologists now for quite a while. But every time I'd go to a doctor, they would talk to me about the fact that I had a heart murmur. So I knew I had one. Dr. Hagehat has been watching it. He's just been following it along. And we knew for the last year or two that it was getting worse. I would have things that I couldn't do. Physical work, I just run out of breath, shortness of breath, a little chest pain. And so I knew it was getting worse. Dr. Hagehat really did not want to recommend open heart surgery again. So he began to talk to me about the TAVR procedure and said that they wanted to watch it and see if that procedure came online before I really had to have something else done as far as the heart valve itself. And it just worked out. About the last month or 2 before they started the procedures when my heart valve really got worse. And so I just took it easy. I would do what I did in the morning and then run out of steam, and I didn't do anything the rest of the day. Just kept that kind of schedule. And so finally they started the procedure, and he said, okay, we're ready. And I had just gotten to the point where I couldn't do anything. I knew something had to happen. And so they did the procedure.
Say that part again. That was powerful to have a little bit of, space before and after that about things that had gotten where I just knew I had to have the procedure.
Yes. I really came to grips with the fact that I needed to do something. I needed a procedure. I had just gotten to the point where I couldn't function. I was good for an hour or 2, maybe 3 in the morning. And after that, at the rest of the afternoon, I couldn't do anything. I could not do anything physically, any kind of physical labor, shortness of breath, chest pain. And just came to the place where I knew something had to be done. I'd already been told I was not a good candidate for open heart surgery again, and that made the TAVR procedure really attractive, and I was very happy to have that done.
So did you have to stop doing ministry work, or?
No, that's what I would do in the morning.
That would be it.
That was it. That was all I was doing. I was not doing anything around my house, wasn't cutting grass, wasn't doing any kind of repairs, nothing was going on. And just didn't have the energy, didn't have the ability to get it done.
Well, tell us about the procedure and how that went, and then about how you are now.
I was incredibly pleased. I got to meet the 2 surgeons. Of course, Dr. Hagehat had been talking to me about the procedure. I met with Dr. England, and then at another time I met with Dr. Cito. Josie, the nurse, was walking me through the whole process. Every time I talked with somebody in the profession, I got more information and I got a little bit of different perspective on what they were going to do, and just really got comfortable with the whole process. I really began to understand. They were very helpful to help me understand what was going to happen, what I could expect on the other side of the procedure. And so once we made the decision to do it, and Dr. Hagehat basically told me, he said, you really have to have something done at this point. So I said, okay, schedule me, and they did, and went in dark 30 one Wednesday morning about 5 or 5:30, and got everything set up. I did what I always like to do in these kind of procedures. I slept through the whole thing and was very happy about that. Woke up in intensive care and immediately knew I was better.
So just that soon, you
Yeah.
you could just really feel it.
I
Tell us
could,
a little bit about that.
Felt better in the hospital, and I still was recovering because you've had two similar to a heart catheterization. So I knew I had to recover and had to take a certain amount of things easy, but felt better. Just didn't have the tiredness. Could actually take a deep breath again. Didn't have any chest pain. I didn't have any problem with like that, and was just. I wanted to go home a whole lot sooner than they let me go home. I was feeling so much better.
Well, then tell us about with your returning back to pastoring at your church from the hospital. How long it was from the time you did that till you were back in the pulpit? I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, I got out of the hospital on Tuesday and went back to church on Sunday and preached. So it was that quick, and I felt good. I really did.
And could I ask you to say that one more time? I heard somebody laughing in the background. Normally we have a more quiet space,
That's all
but
right.
today meeting rooms were at a premium.
Is that Josie over there?
That was perfect. If you could just say one more time.
I got out of the hospital on Tuesday, took a few days and rested and recuperated, went back to church on Sunday and preached again. So it was just that quick, that much of a recovery.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then anything, the question Jay had asked earlier, anything about with your family, any difference they've noticed or more things you're able to do with your grandkids or kids or?
Once I got past the recovery, the actual physical where they did the incisions and those kind of things, where they tell you you can't lift 5 pounds and all of those kinds of things, life got back to normal, which was really, really good. I have my youngest two grandchildren are 4 and 6, and so I can pick them up and swing them around and play with them like I could not do before. Spend time with them in the backyard, swinging and doing all the things that they enjoy doing. Everybody in church, family, everybody just, when I tell them what I had done, their basic response is, well, you look so good, I can't believe that they did anything to your heart. It was just that noticeable and that big a difference.
And then if you'll tell us, since you've had both, the difference between open heart surgery and the TAVR procedure in terms of recovery or scars or anything like that, just kind of do a comparison.
19 years ago, I had triple bypass surgery, open heart surgery. And that is an incredibly long recovery. Painful. It's not an easy recovery. It took me months to get back to doing what I wanted to do, to get back to feeling good. With the TAVR procedure, like I said, the next day I felt better. I did not really think in terms of a recovery period because I went home and felt good. The only limitation was I couldn't pick up anything heavy. Other than that, I felt like I could do anything that I wanted to do. And like I said, I got out of the hospital on Tuesday and I was back in church preaching on Sunday. And so the difference between the two is just phenomenal. It is hard to describe to somebody unless they've had heart surgery before. Then you can tell them that none of that applies. There's just no difference at all.
Okay, and then, Tara, can you think of anything else we've missed?
Yeah, you might want to just mention the hospital.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the procedure. And then.
That's a good point. Yeah, about, were you surprised that was offered here at Bay Medical and in Panama City, anything about that, or how you were treated by the hospital or about the procedure being here?
I've lived in Bay County since 1982, and one of the really nice things that has happened in the last 20, 30 years is to see the improvements that are taking place, particularly in the medical field. In conversation with Dr. Hagehat, my cardiologist, he was telling me about the things that they are beginning to do and that they were bringing them to Bay County, Panama City, so that you don't have to go out of town to get a lot of this type of thing done. You can get it done here, and it was really good. I had at one time considered going somewhere else because I have two daughters that live in another town where they do this procedure, and I would have had a good support system for my wife. But once they started it here, I said, why go anywhere else? You can do it here. I had a tremendous experience with Bay Medical Center 19 years ago when I had my heart surgery. And I had talked with some friends of mine who were physicians, and I said, if you were going to have heart surgery, where would you go? And they said, I'd go right here, and told me the surgeon, and that's exactly what happened. So everything that I have ever done with Bay Medical Center has been very positive. Never crossed my mind that I would not want to have this procedure here. And so very happy with that, very happy with the quality of the physicians and what they were able to do. The nurses in cardiac intensive care were just fantastic. You just don't get any better than that. And so it was just a good experience all the way around, and I would recommend it to anybody. If their cardiologist said you need a heart valve replacement, just do it.
Okay, that sounds good. Debbie, you think of anything else?
Maybe have him say a little bit more, and then say Bay Medical Sacred Heart instead
Bay
of
Medical Sacred Heart, okay.
Just like you were glad to have come.
Mhm.
Bay Medical Sacred Heart.
The experience that I had at Bay Medical Sacred Heart was just excellent. I would recommend it to anybody, and very happy to have had this procedure here. Was very happy with the hospital itself, with the people that are employed here, with the physicians. It was just a good experience all the way around.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
That was
My
great.
pleasure.
That was great.
Well, it's the truth.
That's wonderful.
That's a ask a preacher
You-
to not be truthful.
I was going to say, you know I'm going to tell you the truth.
That's the nice thing about this procedure. You don't have to lie.
That's
There you
right.
go.
You
It
don't have
is.
to exaggerate.
It is a good one. It sure is.
That's the best way about the truth. The truth is
Yeah.